They mocked him in front of a crowd, not behind his back, but openly, on stage, for everyone to see. The year was around 423 BC. A playwright named Aristophanes had written a comedy called The Clouds, and in it, he made Socrates the fool, a barefoot thinker, head in the clouds, corrupting the youth, lost in nonsense. The audience laughed. The city laughed. And what did Socrates do? He didn't storm out. He didn't argue. He didn't demand an apology. He simply laughed and raised his hand. Yes, that's me. That was Socrates. In a world obsessed with appearances, he had no fear of being misunderstood. He saw ridicule for what it was, a sign of ignorance disguised as humor. Socrates once said, "It is not living that matters, but living rightly, and living rightly means knowing when not to react." He understood. You don't need to be loud to be strong. You don't need to win the crowd to win your soul. In that single gesture, he revealed the depth of his strength, not the strength of muscle, but of character. When most of us are insulted, our first instinct is to defend ourselves, to fight back, to prove the other person wrong. But Socrates, he turned the insult into a mirror and simply stood still. Why? Because Socrates knew who he was. And that's the secret. When you know yourself, no mockery can touch you. This wasn't just philosophy. This was training, daily exercises of the mind, sharpened through dialogue, tempered by restraint. He walked the streets of Athens, not as a preacher, but as a questioner, a mirror to the soul of the city. "Who are you?" he asked. "Do you truly know?" And most didn't, but they pretended, and when their pretense was exposed, they laughed or got angry. He once said, "Know thyself, not defend thyself, not impress others, just know." And when you know who you are, the words of others are just wind. They come, they go. But you remain grounded. True wisdom isn't loud, it's quiet. It sits beneath the noise, waiting, unshaken by gossip, untouched by ego. When Socrates said, "Know thyself," he meant more than introspection. He meant standing still in a world that wants you to flinch. And if you can do that, you become unshakable, not hard, but deep. Here's the irony. People mocked Socrates because they couldn't understand him. He questioned everything. He asked, "What is justice? What is love?" He made people uncomfortable, not because he was cruel, but because he made them think. And people don't like being made to think. So they laughed, and later they killed him. But Socrates didn't fear death, and he didn't fear mockery, because he lived with one goal, to live rightly. Not popular, not powerful, not admired, just rightly. He could have fled. When the charges came, he could have run to safety or begged for mercy, but that would have betrayed everything he stood for. And so he stayed, drank the hemlock, and died with peace. So what can we learn from this? Next time someone mocks you, asks a loaded question, or paints you as the fool, don't rush to respond. Don't rush to prove them wrong. Instead, pause, breathe, and remember Socrates, the man who could be laughed at and still raise his hand with peace. They laughed at him, but today we remember his name, not theirs, because true strength is silent, calm, and rooted deep, and that's something worth raising your hand for.